Good morning. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. We start where we usually start every morning. Remember that our show, you need to do your own due diligence. You can follow what we're following, but it is your choice. Bitcoin came down to 60,400, bounced, came back down here at 60,600, and came down here to 60,474 after going up to 61,200, and it is back to 63,126. So I'm not sure what's going on with this chart because it shows it at 60.78. We'll just refresh it a little bit. Yeah, it's been at this number for a long period of time. It makes you susceptible to believing this is actually the number, but we'll double check that in a moment. Let us go over to our word of the day. Our word of the day is Titivate. Titivate is our word of the day. Make small enhancing alterations to something to titivate the conference hall with festive today. Let us go over to our S&P 500 heat map. Anticipating was up 0.1% instead of being down 0.1%. So that is the story with that one. Microsoft, Oracle, Apple, Meta, Tesla are all down. NVIDIA is kind of bouncing. Micron is up almost 4%. Healthcare is mostly down. Industrials, real estate. Most of the financials are down. Wells Fargo is actually up as it prepares to release earnings with JP Morgan on Friday. Asset management and insurance are slightly up. So that is the story there. We quickly go over to this. If you spent a lifetime building up your wealth and you don't want 2008 to recreate a downturn in your retirement, you can look at this. It beats index investing by about 5% per year. And how does it do that? Well, it never goes down when the market goes down. When the market goes up, it goes up, keeps going up the stairs. And you can see index investing bobs and weaves with the market. There's currently 10% bonuses available. As we move over to our charts, we were looking at chart Ninja. Seems to be a leader, really broke out here, and it never kind of looked back. We'll look at a couple of others that seem to be hidden in the same direction. First, we'll go to our dollar. Dollar is holding steady. Silver is bouncing, getting above the 20-day moving average. Gold is up slightly at 0.6%. Copper is bouncing as well. Looks like it's filling the gap there above the 20-day moving average, up 0.83%. And look at uranium. Uranium is bouncing off the 10-day. Look at Denison Mines. Strong move on Denison, up to 2.16%. First, we'll look at the VIX. Changing up a little bit. It's only up slightly, 0.67%. But look at this number. It's almost at 21. S&P 500. It's pretty flat. The equal weight is down 0.18%. The NASDAQ is up slightly. The equal weight in the NASDAQ is up 0.17%. The small caps gap down this morning, hit their 50-day moving average, and they're trying to fight back. Dow Jones, take a look at our 10-year bond yields. They just keep edging up and edging up. I guess we got a pretty small chance as another half-point interest rate cut. It looks, if we get one, it'll be a quarter-point cut. And this CPI kind of puts in doubt whether that'll happen either. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's up to 4.08. And the 20-year yield is up to 3.24, up 1%. Take a look what is trending positively. Financials are down. Industrials are down. China bouncing back a little bit here. And the FXI is bouncing as well. BYD is up 2.61%. Futu down 3.72%. So let's kind of look at the Chinese markets. Biotech continues to fall. Utilities pretty flat for the day. Real estate down slightly, as you would expect with the rising rates on treasuries. Home builders up slightly. Consumer discretionary pretty flat. Consumer staples down slightly. Healthcare look at the banking. They're pretty flat. Insurance, after we got that landfall, down 0.33%. Semiconductors up slightly. Infrastructure. And let us go. Building materials up slightly. Mining and metals are up as well. Really filled the gap there. Cruise lines continue to do well. Looks like a thing close to moving out of a basin. This double edge, travel and leisure. And take a look at our airlines. Here we go. I believe Delta Airlines is reporting this week. With that, let's move on to our news for the day. World News, a bull bear spread in American Association of Individual Investors weekly survey is 28.4% versus 18.2% last week. Bulls rise to 49% to 45.5, neutrals to 30.4, bears from 27.3 to 20.6. So I guess they picked one day to be a bull. So on to Costco. They reported net sales for the retail month of 24 increase of 9% from 22.59 billion from last year. September total comp sales up 6.7 and US comp sales excluding gas up 9.3%. Stock falls slightly, down 1.38% onto Domino's Pizza. Over the last 20, 30 years, this has been the number one company. It's been trending down. It's pretty flat for the day. EPS $4.19 versus estimate of $3.65. Reports quarter three revenue of 1.08 billion versus consensus of 1.1 billion. Continues to expect the following of 7% annual global retail sales growth and 8% annual income from operations growth. On to Nike, upgraded to buy from hold at Truist and raised target to $97. Look at one of their competitors, falls 1.67%. On to energy, industrials, and materials. Atlas Energy Solutions said it expects third quarter revenue to fall below prior guidance due to higher plant operating expenses, and it now expects revenue between 300 and 310 million. On to Babcock and Wilcox. So Atlas really falls. It's falling 2%, reaches an agreement to sell Italian and Swedish businesses. They're going to receive approximately 40 million in cash in closing. Delta Airlines, quarter three adjusted EPS $1.50 versus $1.52. Revenues 14.59 billion versus 14.65. it falls on the open quite a bit, and then it is bouncing on to GXO Logistics, exploring potential sale after receiving takeover interest. Person familiar with the matter tells Reuters. GXO spun off from trucking company XPO in 2021, is working with financial advisor to field acquisition interest from suitors, which include rival logistics providers, says Reuters. And it jumps on that news up 14.3% on the financials. Alliance Bernstein announced that preliminary assets under management increased to $806 billion during September 2024 from $791 million at the end of August. And they are rising up 2.6%. Lending Club upgraded to outperform from market performance. Keefe Bruyette gaps up on that news, up nearly 5%. Toronto Dominion Bank is expected to pay about $3 billion in penalties and accept limits on its growth in the U.S. as part of a settlement with regulators and prosecutors over charges it failed to properly monitor money laundering by drug cartels. Big gap down 3.86% on that news. On to healthcare, 10x Genomics shares tumbled over 20% after guiding quarter three revenue 151.7 million, below consensus of 162.24 million, saying the previously announced modification they made to their commercial processes and organization to increase effectiveness represented a significant change in how we engage with customers. Big gap down on that, trying to fight back, but even still down 25% on that news. GSK has struck a $2.2 billion agreement to settle most U.S. lawsuits filed against it over claims that Zantac heartburn remedy causes cancer. And it's down nearly 2%. Medtronic upgraded to outperform from sector performance. RBC Capital gaps up on the news, up 0.75%. On to technology, media, and telecom. Applied Digital quarter one EPS 15-cent loss versus 29-cent loss estimate. So it's been in a pretty big range today, still up 0.54% on the day. American Tower downgraded equal weight from overweight at Wells Fargo. This is one that builds the towers for Wi-Fi. Amazon said that Apple TV will become available on Prime Video later this month in the US for $9.99 a month, and a boost for the iPhone phone maker. So Amazon is up 1%. Take a look at Apple. It's pretty flat for the day, 0.2. Here's interesting. This is 2 times Apple if you think Apple is going up. On to Baidu. Baidu is looking to test and deploy its Apollo Go robotaxi in places including Hong Kong, Singapore, and the Middle East in an effort to extend its competitive advantage outside China, says the Wall Street Journal. And Baidu is up 0.82%. On to E2 Open Parent. Shares tumble, quarter two EPS 5 cents versus estimate 5 cents. Adjusted EBITDA 54.9 million versus estimate of 53.61. It is down 19%. This is after fighting back after the big sell-off. So on to Skyworks, downgraded to underweight from equal weight at Barclays, and cut target to 87 from 115. I'm going to look at a couple of companies before we go on to our daily review that recently sold and continued pretty strong. It's pretty amazing what they're doing. I sold right in here, and it just keeps on marching forward. In the software area, Samsara has a big move today. Looks like it's trying to clear this consolidation here. Volume is higher than the previous days, so that is pretty interesting. Let us go over to our daily review. What is up 10% on 200% increase in volume. Got 4 items. Interesting. Yeah, we looked at this one in the news. Celsius, big leader. Is this creating bottoming base? It's cleared the 10 and 20 declining 10 and 20-day moving averages. It's up almost 13%. Symbotic up 15%. Huge volume today. Earnings earned for 39 days. And Donald J. Trump continues to rise. It's up another 15% today. Look at this. This is a full first eye opener. This one had a slight pullback here, and it continues up. Apparently, from the polls, the Democrats are negative on their chances, and Republicans are positive. So the vote still needs to take place. So many things can change over the coming days. So that's all we're going to get into politics on this channel. Let's take a look quickly at the 5%. Interesting, Cloudflare. It's getting a huge bounce. And this big sell-off down to 66.24. And it's been generally rising ever since then, up nearly 10% this morning. Alico in agriculture, huge move, 8.31%. It's been kind of in a basing range in this little Darvis box. This was kind of ugly move. And we looked at some of these. IDT Corporation hits a profit zone in 2 days. That is just pretty amazing. InMode, which we haven't seen for a while, gets a big move. I believe this is the electronic. You have radio frequency and minimally and non-invasive cosmetic procedures. Moves up 6.38%. So is this creating a bottoming base? Definitely put that on your watch list. MongoDB has a nice move up 5.29%. Rubrik also up about 6% in cloud data management. Finally, Universal Insurance. It's a bounce, but closes on its low. We did not look at IGV. It looks like it's moving out of its pivot zone, up pretty strong today. And XLK is holding pretty steady. Look at it, Dave. We have this one, did pull back to the 20-day and is bouncing. We're still holding this after a pretty nice move right around here. So that kind of leads us in what we're doing. NVIDIA looks like it's up 1.6% today. We're just going to bring up our portfolio, our little handheld. MicroStrategy, pull back a little bit. We still have the, I believe it's a 180, 185. Our account was down a lot more first thing in the morning and is bouncing a little bit here. AMSC, we have the options, pull back to the 50-day and is bouncing. Kava, pulling back a little bit. Terra, often wish I didn't take off that covered call at 130. Oracle is pulling back a little bit. Still in the profit zone. And Reddit, pulling back, but not too much. Carpenter Technology, up slightly. Elf Beauty, initially sold off, and now it is getting above yesterday's close. up 2% today. BRT pulled back close to its 10-day and then bouncing. And finally, the big riser yesterday is ALAB, and it continues higher today, up another 4%. So that is going to be it for today. Thank you for joining Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll catch you at the close of the week at Friday. Go out there, continue to work on your goals and your activities. We can help you with any of your financial goals or activities. Please let us know. Remember, Mornings with Michael, you need to do your own due diligence if you want to follow us to find out if it's right for you.